Hey, this is Derek Loda with Loda Properties. If you want to learn how to sharpen your axe and take down your biggest goals, you should be listening to the Small Axe Communities podcast with my dear friend Nico Salgado.
Hi, welcome to the show. I'm Nico Salgado, and I chat with top industry leaders in multifamily and business. I believe that it only takes a small axe to build a lasting empire. And if you want to learn how to use your small axe to accomplish your biggest dreams and goals, then join our Small Axe community and enjoy the show. All right, welcome to another episode of the Small Axe Communities podcast. Today we have an awesome guest, my friend Derek Loda. Derek has been an active real estate investor since 2015, with a portfolio in single-family rental and duplex space. Founding Loda Properties in 2017, he has developed a network of investors looking to make a positive impact on multifamily apartment communities by providing high-quality living for residents while producing passive income and wealth creation for investors. Passionate about helping individuals reach retirement sooner, he started Apartment Investing for Early Retirement, a podcast that focuses on educating about the vast opportunity and power to build wealth through quality multifamily investing. Mr. Derek Loda, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me on.
All right, I'm glad to have you, man. You know, we've had a few conversations before, and I know about you, but I would really like to get a little bit more about your background and how you got started in the multifamily space, if you want to start there.
Yeah, so I will go back actually a little bit farther and just where I was. It was 2013. I was actually working out in New York. I was out on Long Island at a country club. I used to have a career in the golf industry as an assistant superintendent. So I was out at this club, and superintendent there, my boss, he had invested in commercial real estate in terms of office space. He had done a little bit with that, and then one of the other assistants, actually, his family would build duplexes and then would hold on to them. Sell some, but hold on to the majority. And so he was always get into real estate, get into real estate. Well, moving forward a few years, I got a job back in Wisconsin, and where I'm from, and I ended up buying an upper lower duplex. Rented out the upper, it paid my mortgage, um, plus my utilities. So basically, I was living for free. I bought it as a foreclosure for 45,000. I ended up refinancing, got some more property, and kind of moving forward. But I realized that it wasn't very scalable to get to a point where I wanted to be. Part of the aspect was my dad was he's getting towards retirement age, still is right on that verge. And I kind of noticed that an item that really stuck out is that your expenses come in monthly, and you don't necessarily, he's fortunate, he'll should be able to retire within the next year. So he's still in his he's not going to be working till that 65 range, but expenses come every month. And to have something that's a monthly cash flow, you're getting that where it's not eating away at, say, that 401k or whatever those investment accounts, you take it and it's gone. So something that's going to consistently pump it out. So I did a little bit more digging. The single family duplex 4-unit space was just, it wasn't really going to achieve those goals. Obviously, I wanted to get to scale, and I wanted to be able to bring in investors for it so that I can help out people like my parents to have that cash flow coming through. So it was 2017. I started looking into multifamily. First real hit was, it was a Bigger Pockets podcast with Bruce Peterson. And he was talking about, obviously, he does some syndication. And okay, what's the syndication? Because I can't go buy a $5 million property. So, okay, syndication, there's active operators and there's passive investors. There's ways to make it happen. So I started digging in more and more and just doing the self-education, drinking from the fire hydrant that is the internet. And like Bigger Pockets, I think a lot of people, that's where you kind of start out looking at some real estate stuff. Obviously, they have a lot of great information on there. But with a lot of people on there, if you ask a question, you're going to have a bunch of different answers. And it's both a pro and a con. So there's so much information, and to filter it down is a little challenging. So I just kept going through that process. Eventually was like, I'm going to send out direct mail letters to some owners of these apartment communities. Well, oh shoot, some of them started answering back, and actually got a 88 unit under contract in Northwest Wisconsin. I had gone to college in this city, and was comfortable enough with it, but I didn't have a network. I didn't know anyone really, and I knew some, but I didn't really know anything that I needed to take it down. Long story short, it fell apart, but the gentleman that I was working on it with was able to end up closing on it about 6 months later with another partner who was local, had those relationships, had the portfolio, everything. So it worked out. I got a finder's fee for it, which I was like, okay, I need to get around a group of people that are doing what I want to do and really get that network out, because that was the biggest thing, was just I needed to know people. So I joined Jake, community last July, and obviously since then have taken some big strides. I've since started a podcast meetup, and going to be making a big move with my wife down to Florida, Central Florida. That's where I'm looking to get property and see what that leads to. But yeah, it really just started as kind of I'll start in real estate, and it built and built and built to a point where kind of got clear on what those goals are, and that the opportunity that multifamily provides, and that's the right avenue for me, to achieve those goals, both for myself and for others that I would want to bring into deals. So that's not quite long story short, but that's the background to where we are today.
Wow, Derek, that is awesome, man. That's a great story. So we have some things in common. I mean, I'm from Long Island. Currently live on Long Island in New York, and you're here. And so was it a superintendent you said?
Yes.
Now
Yep. Golf
all
course
right, so
superintendent.
he really influenced you, huh? And he got you, at least he got the wheels turning to think about, real estate as a vehicle for, financial freedom. And you took that and ran. And then what happened was, when you head back over to Wisconsin, and this happens, I feel like, to a lot of people, when we see, there's a connection of helping our family, right? And then how do I do that? And a lot of people turn to multifamily real estate as a vehicle. And what you did is you first got introduced to real estate and had that seed planted by the superintendent on Long Island, and then you went back to Wisconsin, saw the reality of what your dad was going to be facing, and that hit you, and it hit you strong enough to make you want to take action. And I think that is just phenomenal that you went all out, man. So you started with that one property, then all of a sudden you have an 88 unit under contract. Before we continue, I kind of want to ask you, what were you using to underwrite these deals, and did you look at a lot of deals before you got that 88 unit under contract?
I looked at some. My underwriting was just like a bigger pockets underwriting tool. I didn't have any huge spreadsheet for it. It was really basic, and trying to break it down each month, it was just it wasn't necessarily designed for that. What it is designed for, it works great, but I had looked at a few deals, but I had no idea. And I mean, the price that I negotiated it for, really quite a good deal. They ended up closing at about $500,000 higher than what I had it for. But the way I would underwrite was the same as underwriting for a duplex. Basically, I didn't know what I was doing. So the best thing that happened was it not closing. I mean,
Right.
that was definitely, I was bummed at the time, but that was the best thing. And fortunately, the owner was fine. Obviously, he wanted it to happen, but he's like, hey, this isn't in the cards. Here's your earnest back, which on a $4.3 million purchase, we had 10,000 in earnest. So I was just, the whole thing, it was a true mom and pop to a T. Like, there's nothing digital for stuff. I'm getting pictures of financials, and it was 100% classic mom and pop. But yeah, just didn't really know where to go for
That's
that
great.
information at the time that would have helped it. But again, best thing that happened is it didn't. Otherwise, I wouldn't have probably ended up joining the community that I did, and having the growth that I've had since.
Yeah, I mean, And some of the coaches that we have in our network are really big on, if it's not a deal or you can't make it happen, don't make it happen. And then, you also touched upon the fact that if we can't make the deal happen and we're already in contract, you can kind of set a bad reputation for yourself. So you are telling me that you got lucky in the sense that the owner was very understanding, which is so surprising. I mean, you think $4.3 million is a huge deal, but you were also able to get somebody to buy it, and you also got a finder's fee out of it. That is great, man. That is great work. And you did that all on your own. I think that's phenomenal. Do you still have a relationship with either the people who bought the team that bought the property or the owner?
Yes, yep, with the people that bought it, obviously the one I was actually working on it with, and he called me up. He's like, "Hey, I have this contact." Turns out he's never thought about it before, but we have this contact. We had just mentioned I was working on a deal, and he's like, "Oh, which one?" And ended up going to talk to the owner, and he's like, he was able to bring capital to the deal, so the other gentleman couldn't necessarily do it all without him, and but they were gonna go in together, and he called me up one day and was like, "Hey, so here's the situation. Basically, what had happened. We're going to pursue this. I don't think there's a way to get you in long term based off of how that other, his partner on that deal would set stuff up." And he's like, "Would you be okay with a finder's fee?" He's like, "If you're not, I'm not going to pursue it." Well, first of all, I'm not going to keep someone from getting a deal. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But it's a testament to the character of this gentleman. And I'm like, "Oh, absolutely. I didn't know what was customary for finders fees and stuff." And ended up it was far more than I actually thought, but got in, and we still have. He actually lives in Appleton, where I live, Appleton, Wisconsin, and we talk every once in a while. Not as much with stuff going on, but they would come to my meetup, and are probably gonna his wife wanted to get more involved in that, so they'll probably actually take over once I move down to Florida. But no, it's just, again, it's being surrounded by the right people too is very important. People with certain level of ethics and just those core values are huge, and that's a conversation for for another day, is how important that is when getting into a partnership. But yeah, still, if some other deals come up around here, it's certainly in a position to take them down. It's just finding a deal and not just a property right now is certainly a challenge.
Absolutely. But to your point, I mean, the level of camaraderie that we find within the multifamily space, I think you and I have spoken about it before, but for everybody out there listening, I mean, it is huge. People want to help each other, and people are generally, for the most part, not looking to stab each other in the back. They're looking to give people what they earn and what they deserve. And I think that we're just connected with such a great community. Now, I kind of want to ask you a couple of quick questions about it before we move on. So,
Yeah.
do you know if the property is currently performing?
They had some. I haven't spoken in the last couple of months about this, but last time we had, they were going through some renovations. It was 1980s built, and last touched in 1980s, so they had to go through some renovations. They had a couple of residents that weren't too pleased apparently with the turnover, and the one guy, I think, flooded his bathroom, and of course he was the second floor. So they got a welcoming to that place. But it was a little tight for a little while. They were just taking a lot of the renovation budget just out of the cash flow stuff. But from last I know, it's been working out. A little bit thinner than originally planned, but should
Working
be able
out
to make
nonetheless,
should be
yeah.
able to get through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you take that finder's fee and put it to work, or what did you do with it?
Yep. So what I had, and actually I'm a licensed real estate agent in Wisconsin, so I had to pass that through the broker. Which, fun fact, if you're licensed, any fees that you get, at least in the state of Wisconsin, do have to go through your broker for anything real estate. activity. So good thing caught that. But passed that one through, and then I used a portion of that to join the Jake and Gino community at the time, and then the rest was I should have put it to work. I didn't as much. I kind of put it back to the business to a certain amount, but really set that aside for when I joined the community to be able to make sure that I go to all of the events, that I'm able to you know do some marketing aspect, that I'm able to kind of get stuff. So indirectly, yes, put to work back to the business, but if I could go back that, I would probably find how that money was used a little bit better. But yeah, saw that I needed to get around the right group of people, because that was the biggest thing. I didn't know people that were looking to do what I was wanting to do. So that was priority number one. As soon as I got that in, was to join the community.
Yeah, and you went all in. I mean, so you set aside money to make sure you can attend all the events. I think that's excellent, and it shows commitment, heart, dedication. But it wasn't, I don't think, from conversations with you, I know that it wasn't easy for you to be getting into such a community and to be opening up yourself to so many people and and everything that you're doing now with the meetup and the podcast. You know, you're really putting yourself out there, but was that challenging for you?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I basically describe myself as a chronic introvert. I was just growing up. I mean, I had a few. I always had those close friends, but I only had a few of them, and I just didn't really like going to be around bigger groups, and so I never anything that was new. I did not like. I was just very uncomfortable. So to go back, I left um, my career in golf in 2017 and just went all in on real estate. That's really the first time that I like really got uncomfortable. I was even comfortable moving, across the country to go work because I knew I was just working, but went all in on real estate. And it wasn't until I think it would have been like May or June of 2018 when I first went to a real estate investors association meetup where I live now. And, you know, but when I first went, I would be kind of just standing at maybe the end of the bar or back towards the corner, and never really approached anyone. I was that stereotypical, introvert. I was just very uncomfortable. I was there to learn a little information. Okay, the information is great, but it's the network that's important. And, I was just very overwhelmed by that whole process. And I just kind of stayed with, okay, well, whatever, it'll come to me, you know, all this stuff. No, now looking back, obviously, I had to go out and, and force the conversations with new people and get uncomfortable, because since I've done that, especially the last 2 years, I would say I've been the most growth in that aspect. And, frankly, I think part of that is just, I was getting serious with my now wife, that that kind of changes that confidence level too a little bit, when you're like, oh man, this person actually likes me. All right, maybe I am a likable guy. And started getting out there a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, I was terribly uncomfortable, every step of the way. But it gets easier, so before the touch on when I started my meetup would have been last October or November. I can't remember which one the first one was. I tried to repress that from my mind, but I was so nervous about how many people are going to come. I put it out there. We had a venue, all this stuff. I was like sweating before, and it was at a bar downtown. Turns out, okay, the space there, it wasn't truly separated, so all that noise was coming in. I had I think 23 people that showed up to the first one.
Wow.
And
Congratulations.
yeah, I was shocked. And I was like, oh no, there's 23 people here. Like, I thought it would be like five. So it was both a good and a bad. But once I started talking about it, it was just a very, very intro to multifamily, just, hey, this is why we put it together. Here's some things, just kind of talking about the basics. I got in a groove, and I was very, very comfortable. But then, before the next meetup, I was still a little anxious. And then I'd start going, and it's fine. It's just like I needed to get out of my own mind, and just let the stuff happen. But I get so worked up before anything that had to do with being social, that I just like start telling myself, well, working myself up to a point where I'm probably going to sound like an idiot. No, it worked out fine, but boy, was it uncomfortable beforehand. And then, kind of built in, I think a lot of that helped because I had a community that was, around me that ultra supportive in it. And, I still tell people, and I probably shouldn't, but like, I consider myself an introvert. Like, I would have no idea. The biggest thing for me is I don't like small talk because I don't think I'm good at it. I'm like, I feel like I'm just gonna sound like I'm just being pretentious about stuff, or I
Hmm.
don't, I don't actually care or whatever. But if we're talking about, deeper level conversations, I feel like I can go on and on with that. When it comes to real estate, especially uh, multifamily, I'm so passionate about it, and so a huge thing for me is to help people understand the power of it and to get involved, whether it's active or passive, but take advantage of this great opportunity that we have to, kind of build that lasting wealth. So you're getting returns. You're not just taking back, that investment, but it's staying in there. It's continuously growing. And to do that, to achieve, what I want to achieve, I'm gonna have to get uncomfortable a lot more and, and really have a great amount of, education to other people and, those relationships with others in the space, outside of it, and just really to build up a business so that I'm able to, achieve those long-term goals. None of that is gonna happen by sitting on the couch.
Hmm.
I mean, it's just as much as I love love a good Netflix binge, it doesn't get you anywhere to where you really want to be. And, I had kind of that self reflection and ended up making a lot of changes that now I look back. Holy cow, that was a huge change. Just to leave a W-2 paycheck to go into real estate sales is quite a leap. But for some reason, I was comfortable with that. But if I was talking with someone, I don't know, it just it worked me up. So I definitely learned to force myself out, but still have tendencies to kind of stay a little bit too reserved from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, look, you have come a long way, and everything that you're doing, I can't tell that you feel uncomfortable, and I think most people can't. And to that point, I feel like 99% of the people have some reservations about being in public or have some sort of level of anxiety. And it does take time just to get over it. I do as well. I feel very uncomfortable putting myself out there, for example, for the podcast. My first meetup also literally sweating like you did. And I had 4 people, not 23 people and but you're right, the more you do it, just the more comfortable you get, and it's not until you step out of your comfort zone that you begin to grow. And a lot of times what I've noticed is that people won't step out of their comfort zone for themselves. I feel like it takes something bigger, like a bigger vision or a bigger goal, like you did. You have the well, and passion. So you have the passion backing you up, which is the multifamily real estate that you're passionate about, and you are secure and firm in the belief that it can turn around lives and help people. So those two things combined are a huge, a factor for success. And for you to say, "Hey, I'm going to step out of my comfort zone and just be more social on your own," there's no point in doing that. But if you have this firm belief that multifamily can change people's lives and you don't share that with the world, like you're saying, that is a disservice to the world. And I applaud you for all of your efforts and for the growth that you've accomplished and for your vision for the future and everything that you're going to be giving back to the community. I think that is amazing, and it's not easy, man. It's I tell you, most people will tend to just kind of curl up and shy away from things that are challenging or uncomfortable, but you're taking it head on, and I think that that goes a very long way. Do you think that what you do, or by becoming uncomfortable, other people can achieve similar success as you?
Yeah, I mean, not not to speak down on myself, but I'm not special. I mean, I just did the things that made me uncomfortable because, if you the comfort zone is where your dreams go to die. Like, it's just life isn't going to come to you, and again, not to talk you down, but you're not special. You need to go out and get it. If
Mm-hmm.
you aren't happy with the situation that you're in, you need to go out and change it. The world isn't going to change it for you. If anything, it might just make it worse. Like if you have that mindset of, oh, this is just how it is. I guess I'll just deal with it, and whatever. It's never going to change for me. Well, why? Like, if you're just going to sit there, yeah, absolutely not. But go out, get uncomfortable, make the change. And I think a huge aspect for that is getting super clear on what you actually want to achieve. Breaking down your goals, kind of those lifetime legacy goals, your long term, your short term, and kind of those first goals, those basic stepping stone, I need to achieve these first. So, oh, I want to eat better. Well, start out by throwing out the bag of Snickers. That's a good start. That's the basic one, and then kind of working from that. But not so much. Goals are so important to have, and writing them down so you can reference them. And it doesn't have to be, everything is super broken down. Some people don't believe in writing down goals, and they've been ultra successful, and that's fine. For me, I'm a firm believer. I need to have something to go back to, so when I have those tough days, I can go, oh, that's right. I want to achieve this. And for me, obviously, that early retirement, I think this country is sorely lacking in financial education. So I want to be able to start, one, help 1,000 people retire early, um, you know, through multifamily investing, whether it's direct or indirect. I want to be able to help them there. And the long term is I want to start ideally a series of, but at least a school that, obviously you have a general education as well, but to build in with that financial education, that there are different ways of going about it, that business mindset, that entrepreneurism, and also, brings in some core values, because when done right, it can make such a huge impact on the world. And I don't want to just change it for myself, my family, my investors. If I can have, a couple hundred students that are able to, get this base at a young age and build off of that, I mean, the power that that can then lead to. Okay, well, all of that takes work now, and it's small steps. Action plan. Okay, break it down, get super specific on everything that goes into achieving that goal. Okay, I want to be just overall healthier. Okay, well, I'm going to break that down to two main items. I got to eat better, I got to exercise. Okay, from exercise, I'm going to go to the gym 4 times a week. Okay, that's great. What are you going to do there? Well, 2 days a week, I'm going to do cardio. Okay, what 2 days? Monday and Wednesday, I'm going to do cardio for 1 hour. Tuesday and Thursday, I'm going to lift weights. Tuesday, I'm going to do lower body. Thursday, I'm going to do upper body. Okay, now you've broken that down, and obviously you can build your workouts within that. Eating healthy. Well, I need to do, I need to eat healthy. I need to get rid of that temptation of that junk food. Okay, well, that's first step. We're going to get rid of that. And I've tried cutting out sugar. Don't get me wrong, I am addicted to sugar, and it's something that I'm working on. And it's a tough go of it. I've tried, and it still takes perseverance to get through. But cutting back, cutting back, cutting back. That's the goal. But okay, so on that aspect, you're going to break it down to how to eat healthier. Well, I'm going to look up recipes for meals for breakfast, lunch, dinner. I'm going to meal prep 2 or 3 times a week. So it just takes out that question of what I'm going to have, and I default to ordering up a pizza. Don't get me wrong, I love pizza, but if you're trying to cut that up, so break down all of this stuff. So that's a lot. Obviously doesn't have anything to do with real estate, but breaking down each and every step for what goes into it, because two, if I want to call 20 brokers, if I say I need to call 20 brokers today, I will never achieve that, as someone who's never called a broker before, because it is such an overwhelming task. All right, well, why don't we break it down to call one each day, Monday through Friday, for each of the next 4 weeks? Because odds are at the end of week 1 or 2, you're going to be calling more than one a day, because you're going to get more comfortable with it. You're going to get, you're going to figure out how to have those conversations, and just, again, it builds up that comfort level. It's unbelievably uncomfortable. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I should be super comfortable talking to brokers. I'm an agent, but again, it's something new. So you talk to them and then you realize they're just people,
Mm-hmm.
they're people like you and me, and they don't need to know that you're introverted. It's someone brand new. They have no idea of your background. Change it on that one. Don't call them up. Yeah, I'm super introverted. I can't believe I'm talking to you. No, go, hey, it's Derek Loda from Loda Properties. Just wanted to reach out and get in touch with you as I'm looking. My group and I are looking to expand down into XYZ market. Just wanted to touch base, get more familiar, and see how we can do business, down the future or whatever. Obviously, uh, be a little bit clearer than that, but just make that phone call. Obviously, you want to have a certain level of knowing the lingo, knowing how to carry yourself in that, and knowing what you are looking for. But break everything down and just, it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be perfect. Are you going to make mistakes? Yes. Are you going to be sweating before your meetup? Yes. But as it goes on and on and on, you're going to get more comfortable, and eventually you look forward to it. Before my first podcast that I recorded, I was really nervous because I thought I would sound like an idiot. I can't listen to the sound of my own voice, which I think is like many people. It's so different from how I hear it versus recorded. Well, my wife is very good at it and kind enough to edit my podcasts. So I don't have to listen to it. It makes it easier to do. But to listen to the first episode versus, the most recent one, it's changed. I've gotten far more comfortable with it. And I've been able to, by getting out of the comfort zone and having a podcast, reach out to people that I otherwise probably wouldn't be able to have a 30, 45-minute conversation with. That's
Yeah.
huge in this space. You get you get direct access to a lot of knowledge, and you build those relationships. You are now a point of knowledge and reference that people are going to go to. Do you have to know everything? No. But odds are, by getting out of that comfort zone, you've built up a network where you now are able to connect people to those who can answer that question for them. You have added value to that person. You're going to be top of mind when something comes about, multifamily business, is it technology, social media stuff, whatever that area is. So but it takes one step. And the first step is getting off the couch. The second step is just swallowing the hard pill that you might sound like an idiot or look like an idiot, but it's gonna get better. And odds are people aren't gonna think that. We're our own toughest critic, and just take it easy on yourself. You'll be
Mm-hmm.
fine. There's billions of people in this world. Some of them just aren't gonna like you no matter what you do, and others are gonna be just inspired by the action that you do. So focus on doing it for them. Do it for yourself. Do it for the future.
That's great. I mean, all great things there, and it's true. So everybody has the ability to, as you were saying, be the person that they want to be to match their goals or their vision or their what they want in the future. So I'm actually reading a book right now called "Personality Isn't Permanent" by Benjamin Hardy, and it talks specifically to that. Just like you said, when you call up a broker, you have to turn on the persona that you want to portray to this broker, and you have the opportunity to be whoever you want to be. I mean, it's not easy, but it's absolutely possible. And the fact that you're in that mindset of I am changing myself and I'm adjusting myself and evolving to become the person that I need to be to achieve my goals. I mean, that just speaks volumes of you and who you are and your goals as well as I think it's just amazing. Now, what do you do to keep accountable? Do you keep yourself accountable?
Well, there's a couple of things. I run an accountability pod within Jake and Gino. So I had mentioned that when I first joined, I need to get out of that comfort zone. So they pushed me to not just join one, but to lead one,
Mm,
because I put that on myself. I need to be able to keep pushing towards achieving these goals. If I am the leader of this, I need to lead. So we have, calls every couple of weeks, and, just to be able to talk with other people that are doing what I'm doing, various levels of experience within this space. But it kind of holds you to it, because when I need to update people on what's happening in my world when it comes to real estate, if I'm not, oh no, I didn't achieve that. No, I didn't do that either. Oh yeah, no, didn't work on that. Okay, well, I kind of failed at stuff. Now, do I need to beat myself up the next week and that, oh, I'm just a fail? No, but it makes you kind of face reality that I'm not doing what I need to,
Mm-hmm.
and, just touching on that or getting insight, from people who have gone through it, different ideas of how to, you know, improve on, a process that you're doing. And also have someone so that's virtual. Everyone is in different states around the country. And then I have someone that's local that, we'll usually talk once a week and, just kind of go on that because after those conversations, it really propels a little bit more action. That seems like that the rest of that night and the next day you tend to get a little bit more done. But having that ability to let other people know what your goals are, it might be one person, it might be five, it might be, five separate people that you're having conversations with, or it might be all of you at once, but to kind of lay that out there where people can ask you about how it's going and check in consistently. I do it every 2 weeks with the large group, and every week with the one individual. So it's consistently. It's not I've been off track for a month. No, it's at most, if I'm off track, it's 2 weeks and I need to get my butt in gear
Mm-hmm.
in the next 2 weeks to make up for it. So I highly encourage you to find, an accountability partner, find a mastermind, find a group, whatever it might be that, it's someone that can help you through whatever that goal is. If it's eating healthy, find someone else that's trying to get more fit, and you go to the gym. If you're by yourself, you probably won't get quite as many reps out. If you have someone else there pushing you, you might get those extra few reps. Well, you get an extra few reps over the course of a year, you're getting a considerable amount more. So it's those little things each time, that little bit, just 1% better versus that's just staying flat this week. So yeah, highly encourage, get around other people that are doing it, and get really clear with 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever individuals that will be able to help you continue to push forward, and you are also helping them to continue to push forward. It's not just a take, it's also a give.
Excellent. Yeah, I agree 100%, man. I also am an accountability pod, and I feel like it is just hugely beneficial because, like you said, I mean, you know, you can really let yourself down, and it's okay to do that. But if somebody's watching, it's harder to let somebody else down, And I think that being involved in a group that can really just hold you accountable for your actions and the things that you say and the goals that you had put out there is just, I think, monumental and essential to achieving those goals. Derek, I'm going to switch the gears a little bit, and let's see if we can't wrap things up. But I have a question that I ask every single one of my guests. So this question is based on the future. Let's imagine that it was 100 years from now or so, and you have great grandkids, and you have accomplished everything you wanted to accomplish in life, and you were able to retire early, able to help other people retire early, and your great grandkids now want to write a book to honor you. So my question is, either what would the title of that book be? What would you like them to title it for you? Or what would be some of the characteristics that you would like them to highlight about you and how you lived your life?
I That's good. You know, Something would be more of, for a title would be, I guess, like life to legacy. I'm not just living my life, but I'm creating that legacy of what's to follow. So if it is, if I achieve everything, it's about doing it the right way. Is truly helping people along this path. If I help 1,000 people retire early through this this vehicle of multifamily, I will have everything and then some that I could ever want. Now, to have money doesn't mean, you know, you've made it. I feel like success is leaving behind something that's going to truly help other people get to that point. So that's where, would love to have a series of schools that, are all over that focus on showing people a different path to live life. You don't need to work for for 40 years for a company, 45, 50, whatever it is, retire at this number and hope you live long enough to run out of money. No. Hey, here's a different way you can take control of your life. If you show people, who don't have the opportunities that you've been able to have, I've had a pretty I've had a pretty good life. I've been very fortunate. But I still need to put in a lot of work to be able to achieve, what I have now and what I want to achieve in the future. But if I can show, you know, people that come from these tougher communities, or whatever their situation was growing up, you know to have the opportunity, there's a different path that you can take control of your life and actually show them. I would like to think that can that can help change their life, and the lives of those around them, and hopefully be able to build a true prosperity for a lot of people who otherwise wouldn't have even thought that they would have had a chance to have financial freedom. And really, it's having that conscious capitalism. I still believe, that capitalism is such a great vehicle to get people out of poverty and be able to get to something more. But unfortunately, there are people that take advantage of that.
Hmm.
And it's utilizing the money that you've been able to make through the system to help others. I know this is probably going off track from the original, so maybe some of this goes into different chapters of that book. But really, it's creating a legacy, and it's not, I want it so my name is on a school. No, I don't care. I want it so that people are able to then write books about the people that had gone through that school and then made an even bigger impact than I have. I'm one
Okay.
person. It's going to take a team to be able to make that happen. And it's a big goal. And to get there, that's uncomfortable to think about. To get there, it's going to take getting uncomfortable a lot, but helping a lot of people. You can make so much money doing it the right way. And I argue that you're going to make more money when you do it the right way, because if you have a reputation of being a jerk and you're just going to nickel and dime people, so say in this space, you don't take care of your residents, you just treat them, they're just another, it's 103B, whatever. If they don't, I don't care about them, they can leave, whatever. Versus I create this sense of community within this community. We take care of our residents. It's still business, it's not a charity, need to fulfill obligations in that lease. But I
Mhm.
create it so that people truly love coming home. This is their home. I bet you they're going to stay longer. They're going to tell the people that they know. They're going to create more demand for your apartment communities, which in turn, it's all about supply and demand. You're able to have less turnover, which is such a huge recurring cost. And you have that name. So if there is a unit that opens up, it's going to be filled sooner. Your vacancy is going to be let. Like, all of this stuff just adds up to more profitability by doing it the right way rather than taking advantage of people. So yeah, I think I went way off of what the question was intending there. But
I think I got
yeah,
it,
it's
man.
just it yeah,
I,
it's a few chapters. We'll go back to that. There's a few chapters in that book. But
that's
yeah, truly creating a legacy of doing right.
I think you're going for, well. First of all, you have a lot of information there, and it is going to be a multifaceted, multi-chapter book, which is excellent. And I think that your great grandkids are going to be, you know, honoring you in the future. And I think I'm going to twist the name a little bit from Life of Legacy to Proving a Life of Legacy. So great grandpa Derek, proving a life of legacy, showing that it can be done and how to do it so that others all around can be affected and just affect more and more people, so that it becomes like a chain reaction where we have people creating their own life of legacy. So I love that. So thank you so much, Derek. You have been a phenomenal guest, a good friend, and hopefully we will partner soon on a deal down in Tampa or Orlando or somewhere in Central Florida. And I just want to say, besides thank you, I would like the listeners to be able to reach out to you. What would be the best way for them to do that?
A couple of options. So you can reach out to me on LinkedIn is probably the best route right now. Um, I've been getting more away from Facebook and focusing more on LinkedIn, so I will probably see it sooner. Just Derek Loda, DEREK LODA, or just reach out direct. Send me an email to DLODA at lodarealestate.com, LODA realestate untitled.com. Those are probably the two best routes. Yeah, feel free to reach out. I'm here to help and help connect. If I have some insight for you, whatever I can do, please don't hesitate to reach out. And yeah, happy to be of assistance. And thank you so much for having me on. It's been a pleasure. I know I kind of expanded a little bit more than probably intended, but it's something I'm passionate about, and hope that your listeners find great value in it.
I think they're going to. And you know what, guys? Everybody listening out there, he means it. So if you want to reach out to him, you want to learn about how to step out of your comfort zone, how to make things happen, how to get your goals in line and really visualize them, nail them down, and start moving towards them, reach out to Derek, guys. I promise you won't regret it. So thank you so much, Derek. Have an excellent day, and everybody out there, see you next time. I would like to say thank you for listening to another episode of my podcast, where we show you how to use your small axe to build a lasting empire. Now, if you liked what you heard, it would mean the world to me if you would subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, and write a review. Also, if you want to get in touch with me, go to my website at smalaxecommunities.com. And until the next episode, keep sharpening those axes.